This is the Suplex Assassin, the Hoe Thrower, your MLW World Champion. And you are watching Cole TV, and that is on Boomerang! 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 Let's go.
Greetings and salutations, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Pro Wrestling 60. I'm XLJ, the OG, joined by my partner in crime, my brother from another mother this week, hailing from the Sudan, Mr. Broll. How you doing, buddy?
How are we doing out there, world? Welcome in, everyone. If you are watching the PW2, the 60, let us know you're here. We're live. We're better than ever.
Pal.
We're live. We're better than ever.
This is like our fourth week in a row of doing live, but just with so much wrestling shows going on, we got to go live, brother.
But brother,
I got a better place to be on a Monday.
I gotta tell you, I got a hankering. I'm just gonna go ahead.
Wait a minute. Wait just a second. We have got our top story. Like, peel back the curtain here. Our top story. We got this. Just found this out today. And this is breaking news here. I don't think anybody's talking about this. This is breaking news. So B-roll, you want to hit us with that line, and we'll get right into the top story.
Yeah. I mean that's where I was heading, because I don't know if I can wait any longer. The clock starts now.
All right, and our top story. Yes, 5 for $5 is back at Arby's all this week. It is Beef Week at Arby's. WWE Beef Week. 5 for $5. Now, if you place your order online only, this is online only, folks, you can get 5 delicious, scrumptious roast beef sandwiches, just like you see there on B-roll's screen, for only $5. And it's all thanks to the WWE partnering up with Arby's. It's WWE Beef Week at Arby's. And you know what we here at PW60 have to say to that?
They've got the meats.
You're damn right they do. How's that roast beef treating you, bro?
Oh, it is pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. So what me and my wife did, I'm gonna divulge a little secret here.
Well, I think the people want to know. Arby's sauce. Please tell me there's Arby's sauce on there.
Oh yeah, we got Arby's sauce on the side. Yeah, you So, but I placed an order on my phone through the app. And she placed an order on her phone.
Sneaky little devil, you.
Yeah. So I got 10 roast beef sandwiches for $10.
Only $10. But there you have it. I don't think we need to talk about anything else. I mean, this is the big story. So good night, folks. See you next time on another week of Pro Wrestling 60. Oh, wait a minute. Yes, we do have a lot more to talk about. Let's get in our real top story here, B-roll. NXT Battleground took place last night at the UFC's Apex Center. First and foremost, I want to ask you, aesthetically, what did you think of this show as far as being at the Apex Center for UFC?
Felt weird.
Yeah, right? I feel like even in the when they film at the Performance Center, I feel like you can get more people in than at the Apex Center, which it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. It was just, I don't know. It felt like a different vibe. So obviously going into this show, a tremendous amount of momentum. Would NXT keep that momentum? Well, let's find out. First and foremost, we got to talk about the match that everybody is on at the tip of everybody's tongues. The NXT Women's Championship on the line with Roxanne Perez defending against TNA Knockouts champion Jordynne Grace. By the way, both of these ladies brought it. Both looked in incredible shape. Also, the fit for both of them was chef's kiss. Like, let me ask you this, B-roll. Did the match live up to the hype? Well, that's
I'm gonna say yes and no.
Okay. Explain.
Because it was a great match. It was a great match, back and forth. Like towards the beginning of the match, I thought Roxanne had it, and then it was like towards the end, Jordan's power started to show, and I was like, okay, this is really going to happen. And then shenanigans,
in fact. What did you think about the save of that? This Danny? Oh, I mean Ash by Elegance. Like, nice save there. Like,
yeah.
I mean, we all know who it is, but you know.
I mean,
and this is going to sound terrible. I mean, this is no disrespect at all. I'm an old fart and I forget names. I recognize the girl that came out from NXT, but what was her name again, B-roll?
Tatum Paxley.
Tatum Paxum, yes. Do you think she could potentially be this mystery opponent that we're talking about for Jordan Grace coming up this Friday at Against All Odds? I think it is.
I have no idea. Now, spoiled wrestling fan of me, I had convinced myself that Jordan was going to walk out with the title, take it over to TNA, whatever, and then that Roxanne was going to be the mystery opponent and going to either take the TNA title or take her title back or something.
But no, this event about as we thought. There was shenanigans. I don't think Jordan looked weak by any means. I mean, I thought Jordan looked great in the matchup. Roxanne looked great too. Roxanne barely squeezing out the wind. I thought with the finish and everything, with everything that was presented here, I think they did as good a job as they possibly could have, other than maybe putting Jordan Grace over. But it's like you say, we're greedy wrestling fans for thinking that something like that could happen. But never say never in the world of pro wrestling. But nonetheless, this was an incredible matchup. And of course, it had to be our match of the week here on PW60, Jordan Grace against Roxanne Perez. Now, this was interesting after the show. Later on in social media, as Roxanne is cutting a promo, CM Punk shows up to have some words for Roxanne Perez. And Roxanne kind of more or less throwing shade, like, just like, you're a hypocrite. What do you think of this moment? Do you think it was kind of like, I don't know, like Roxanne just sticking up for herself? You're an old fart. Is this throwing some shade on some of Mr. Punk's past in a certain company with a certain Papa Khan?
I mean,
or am I overreading that?
At the end of the day, I think what it is it's kind of clickbait a little bit. It gets you talking about it, right? There is a established mentor-mentoree relationship there, type deal. We know, that he was trained, like when he was training to come back, he was working with Cora Jade and Roxanne or what I'm going to sum it up as?
What's that?
Good business. Good business. Okay.
There you go.
Get you talking about it, and it's just like another layer.
There you go. And let's talk about your main event of NXT Battleground, the in-ring debut of All Ego Ethan Page as he would challenge Trick Williams for the NXT Championship. What do you think of Ethan Page's debut?
You caught me mid-bite. That's what I think.
Only on this show you're allowed to eat while you're on the air with thousands upon thousands watching, but we still love you all.
Hey, it was beef
millions.
Week. Okay? It was beef week. Leave me alone. And
yeah. In case if you've just tuned in, it is WWE Beef Week over at Arby's, where you can use the app and get 5 roast beef sandwiches for $5. That's right.
But only if you tell them PW60 sent you.
Yeah, that's right. But no, seriously, right. What did you think of Ethan's debut?
I think when we had talked earlier today, I think the best way I can sum it up is like, good for Ethan Page from being off TV
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't
Pretty
really
much.
doing anything.
To being in the main event. Now, the match itself
uh, it was alright. It wasn't bad.
is like,
It felt like anything I would have watched on like NXT on a Tuesday, and I mean that is no disrespect, but I mean it just I don't know.
I agree. I agree. And I think we're going to kind of have that trend as we continue to go through the matches on this card. I mean, by no means was it a bad show at all. At all. See,
Right.
Arby's. We have the
Arby's.
meats.
I got the meats. Sponsored this episode. They don't even know it yet.
But hey, I mean, we have said Arby's like literally like 16 times.
Because remember, it is WWE Meat Week over at Arby's. Anyways, we got plenty more stuff we got to talk about here. I thought the match was okay. I thought Ethan looked pretty decent. I think you can play with the story here with like I liked how they said like, oh well, his ego got the best of him and that's why he didn't beat Trick. Because I mean, let's face facts, he wasn't going to beat Trick. This wasn't like that's a no brainer. You know, I mean, we kind of knew what was going to happen here, so it's gonna be let him cook, and we'll see what happens. And yeah, baby, give me some Arby's. They've got the meats. We're gonna make it. How many times can we say Arby's tonight? So, anyways, also a historic moment happened at Battleground. The first ever NXT North American Women's Championship was up for grabs in a ladder match. And I got to tell you, I'm a little surprised with the outcome of this one because I did not see it coming. Kalani Jordan is your new North American Women's Champion, your first North American Women's Champion. Of course, with that had to make her our Wrestler of the Week here on PW60. Very surprised with the outcome. I got to say, she was probably one of the last people I thought about winning it. But I was okay with it. What'd you make of it?
Yeah, you know what? I was okay with it. It like our buddy Hambone says, it was a odd choice.
Mm-hmm.
She is really, really good in the ring and super athletic. But man, like I feel like this was an opportunity to capitalize on somebody who was like red hot right now, like a Sol Ruka or a Lash Legend.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, you would think they go with the obvious one, but I don't know. The way I look at it is it's like, okay, maybe this is going to be like the workhorse championship, and thus they're going to give it to one of the more gifted athletic persons on the NXT roster. Maybe I don't know. It's kind of a head scratcher, kind of sort of, but I mean, I'm not mad at it by any means. I mean, let's see where it goes with this. I mean, Hambo makes a good point. It's just she doesn't really, other than in the ring, like what else does she have to offer? I can't recall really seeing like any type of promos where it was like, oh man, that was good, you know. But I mean, I think she'll get there in time. You know, I guess we'll just let her cook and see. But big surprise that she come out of this matchup as the first ever North American Women's Champion. But like I say, congratulations to her.
And I don't mean to start rumors, but I rumor has it that her and Carmelo are in a ship. They're in a ship, a relationship. I don't know if this is true or not.
I know nothing about it, but hey, good for them, man. So
yeah, so they both are North American champions at one point in their careers.
Speaking of North American champions, let's talk about the men's NXT North American Championship, the triple threat. This match outside, I think, the Grace Roxanne match was match of the night easily. Some could argue and easily say this was the best match. I'm telling you, man, there's just something about Obi Femi and these like three-way matches he has on these takeovers. Holy shit. But this one against your boy Wesley and going up against Joe Coffey, man, holy shit. This was an incredible matchup. Can anybody stop Obi Femi, man? Like, I'm telling you, the way that he's being built and stuff, like, I can't see anybody beating him anytime soon. He could become the most dominant North American champion in NXT history. Like, do you see anybody stopping him?
I mean,
Exactly.
I don't like. I mean, he was freaking using Wesley as like a weapon last night. So
I know, right? Yeah, it's
yeah, I don't.
It's-
I mean,
yeah.
just so powerful.
I mean, he's got
I
the
don't know.
potential to go on a almost like a Gunther like run in NXT, really, like with this North American Championship. So, I mean,
You know what? That's who could
the
stop
sky
him.
is the limit for him.
Gunther could stop him. Gunther could stop him.
Well, Gunther's on the main roster, and Obi Femi is in NXT, but nonetheless, man, this young man, watching him week in and week out, he is killing it. So, literally, incredible matchup though, nonetheless. This one surprised me. The underground matchup between Lola Vice and Shayna Baszler. I will say, I think this was the best underground match they've done yet. A lot of chaos in this one, a lot of back and forth, submission, striking, and a massive win for Lola Vice as she keeps her momentum as she defeated Shayna Baszler. Were you surprised with Lola going over?
No. You want to know why?
Why is that?
Because it was on NXT.
No, yeah, that's true. But still, though, man, I mean, the somebody with the background and pedigree of one Shayna Baszler, it's. I would easily say this is the biggest win of Lola Vice's career. I think.
Oh, easily.
I mean,
Easily
she's
by
had
far.
some big ones, but I mean, this is huge. Like she is positioned herself to be the next top star in that women's division that's already loaded on NXT. So, but this was a fun matchup. And you know what? I felt like the crowd really got into this one because I felt like the first part of this show, the crowd was kind of dead. But I feel like after this match, they were really starting to kind of get into the show. But nonetheless, Lola Vice picking up the win in the underground matchup. And then Axiom and Nathan Frazier retained their tag titles against Carl Anderson and Gallows.
Hooray!
This could have been on it. I'm sorry, and I love Gallows and Anderson. But man, oh man, it is this match could have easily been on a pre-show. I'm sorry. It just was kind of like there as a filler. It happened. And that's that's the end of that. Overall, what did you think of Battleground, though? Did you like the show? Were you kind of just like mid? Did it deliver? What would you rate it? Give us, Mr. B-Roll, give us a grade for Battleground.
Okay, giving it a grade. Like, am I doing A, B, C, D,
Yes.
F?
Yes.
I will give it. I mean, gosh, okay. I got to set precedence here because this could like become a segment for this show here.
Could be like Dave Portnoy, you know, like rating the pizzas, man. You got to do it right.
Yeah, okay.
Listen to your heart.
I'm listening to my heart.
Oh, I like Irish B-. I think that's what I would actually give it. Or B.
I'm gonna give it a C+.
Wow, you're a tough cookie, but okay.
Well, okay. Here's why. Because I was flipping back and forth between B- and C+, and then the B- came in the comment, so that would just make it look like I was copying the comment.
Peer
and
pressure.
Also, the logic of, this is the first one I've ever done.
You're not my teacher.
So if I have to do another one in the future, okay, I've set the bar here. So.
Well,
yeah.
Well, nonetheless, Battleground was a huge event for NXT. Regardless if you love it, hate it, whatever.
But don't worry. Next time, I'm grading on a curve next time. So
fair enough. Well, that wasn't the only huge event that happened this week in the world of pro wrestling. New Japan Pro Wrestling's Dominion took place in Osaka-jo Hall, and typically, if you're not a New Japan fan, typically Dominion is like usually the second biggest show of the year outside of Wrestle Kingdom. And you've got the G1, I guess. But still, though, pretty big show. And we talked about this. This show kind of felt like it wasn't a bad show by any means. But New Japan right now is in this rebuilding process. So we're still trying to get those established stars kind of into the next plateau. And I think this upcoming G1 Climax is going to have a significant amount of doing that, which we'll talk about that here later in the show, as there was some announcements made about the G1. But nonetheless, let's get right into Dominion. And in the main event, which I thought was a smart move, for the first time ever in New Japan Pro Wrestling history, the finals of the Best of Super Juniors tournament took place as El Desperado went up against Hiroshi not
Hiromi.
Hiromi.
No, not
Yeah,
Hiromi.
no, not Hiromi. God darn it, that's their Bone Soldier. There.
Yes.
Yes. I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank. The IWC is going to murder me right now. But anyways,
We apologize.
I don't, fuck, man, I can't remember all this shit. I do what I can. Anyways, El Desperado finally winning the Best of Super Juniors tournament, which I find shocking. This was his first win. It's crazy to think this was his first. But nonetheless, now proclaiming him as the best junior in all the world. And here's the interesting thing, too. Of course, with this comes a title shot. And who came out but that no good piece of shit Show? Or is it Yo? I always get those guys mixed, too. Show. And New Japan fans are going to eat me alive, but it's okay.
No, it's not. Is it Yo?
Yeah.
Crap.
See?
I can't remember.
Well, anyways,
it's the one that's a torture.
Yeah, the one that sucks. Anyways, came out, said some words against El Desperado. It looks like we may be having a steel cage match on down the road between those two for the IWGP Junior Championship. So that's interesting. We'll see what happens there. Tremendous matchup, though, nonetheless, by the way, in this finals. In the other, what was dubbed the other main event, Jon Moxley, the IWGP champion, defended his championship against Evil from the House of Torture in what was billed as a lumberjack death match. And I got to tell you, typically lumberjack matches are usually the drizzling shits. I have to say this wasn't as bad, but still, I hate I get it. It's their gimmick, but I hate the House of Torture bullshit, man. I'm sorry. It's just, I get tired of it. Like I don't know. Jon Moxley retains in this one. No shocker there. And it did at the end of this. The former IWGP champion Tetsu Naito come out and will challenge Moxley at Forbidden Door, as that's one of your now added matches for Forbidden Door, is Tetsu Naito in a rematch against Jon Moxley. Hey, I like Mox just as next to the next guy, but I'm a Naito guy through and through, and I am hoping and praying that Naito can pull it out at Forbidden Door and reclaim the IWGP championship. But
either way, that's going to be a great match. So
either way, it's going to be a great match on what's an already loaded show. We're going to talk about that here in a little bit as well. There you see it right there. The ungovernable one has got to challenge Moxley for the IWGP championship. We had some title changes on hand at Dominion as well, and I think this was the biggest one. TMDK won both the New Japan Strong and IWGP Tag Team Championship. And what's interesting is this is TMDK's first run as IWGP champions. As long as they've been competing in Japan, can you believe this is their first title reign as the IWGP Tag Champs?
And they're the New Japan Strong champions as well. I mean,
so they
now what I want to talk about though is who dropped the belts too.
Yes, because the first team eliminated in this matchup was your New Japan Strong champions, the New Gorillas of Destiny, consisting of El Fantasmo and Hikuleo. And there was some there was some conflict there at the end. And yes, there has been some rumors dropped that Hikuleo has finished out his contract with New Japan Pro Wrestling. And if that's the case, it's a no-brainer, I think, where he's probably heading to. So be on the lookout. You could be seeing another member added to the bloodline pretty soon.
I mean, hey, speaking of meats.
Oh, yeah.
Hikuleo.
Yeah, Hikuleo's got the meats, baby. And you know what else? You can go to Arby's right now. Use the app. 5 for $5 roast beef sandwiches. We don't get paid shit for this, but still you should do it because it's WWE Meat Week at Arby's. But seriously, congratulations to Team TMDK. They definitely deserve it, and I'm excited to see them. I hope they have a lengthy run with the tag titles. Also, we've got new 6-man never open weight champions as Los Ingobernables de Japans, Yodosuji, Hiromi Takahashi, and Bushi would dethrone the champions as they beat Tanahashi along with Bolton Oleg and Toriano. A little confrontation there, Dan, with Tsuji and Bolton not shaking hands. So it's kind of interesting to see what's going to happen there. But
Yeah.
but
This would be Yota Tsuji's first title in New Japan, right?
Yeah, first title in New Japan. I'm glad you pointed that out. Yeah, so his first championship. So congratulations to him. And
is he the first of the Three Musketeers to hold a title?
That's a good one. I'd have to think on that one. Maybe? I don't know. I'd have to think about that, but possibly. And also, if you count this, I'm sorry, but the KOPW title changed hands as the Great Ohan defeated Uemuro in a one-on-one competition. And I got to be honest, I forget there was rules for this, but just like the rest of the KOPW stuff, I kind of just like, I'm sorry, it's kind of, I like Great Ohan, I like both these guys, but kind of this title's like, to me, like the 24/7 title. It's like my pee break match whenever these are on in New Japan. I said what I said, so nonetheless. But congratulations to you, Great Ohan, for winning this championship. But overall, Dominion, I feel like it's gonna be very interesting to see New Japan a year from now. I think it's gonna be a lot different story as we are in this transitional period. So it'll be cool to see where we end up. Also this week, Mr. B-Roll, was a big week for TNA Wrestling as Impact celebrated its 20th anniversary, and the 20th anniversary took place this past Thursday. And hey, we got the privilege of seeing some of these matches live and in color in person. And I got to tell you, man, the main event with Frankie Kazarian and Nick Nemeth was an awesome matchup. The Knockouts tag title match was really good too. Jordan Grace would retain her Knockouts championship against Allison Kay. And we got to talk about this asshole up in the top here. God damn it. AJ Francis is now your new digital champion. Yay. That's all you're getting out of me, bro, unless you got something else you want to say.
I will say one last thing. I believe in Joe Hendry. And
I do. Yes. We believe in Joe Hendry. Well, we mentioned it. Against All Odds is this Friday, and we already have got some of the matchups announced, or we know the majority of them. The big one, Jordan Grace, is going to be defending that Knockouts championship in an open challenge. So who knows who it's going to be. Also, the Nemeth brothers are going to be in action for the tag titles as they're going to challenge the System's Brian Myers and Eddie Edwards. I know your favorite wrestlers. But how about this oddball team? Mike Santana and Steve Macklin teaming up to go up against the Rascals and Mustafa Ali.
Santana.
I know.
Poor Santana.
Mustafa Ali.
He cannot put enough tahini on white bread to make him relevant.
No, 100%, brother. And of course, Mustafa Ali will defend his X Division Championship against Trent Seven as well. And your big main event, Moose defends the TNA World Championship against Matt Hardy. That's all. Not this just Friday. Matt Hardy. Broken.
And
Matt Hardy.
Matt Hardy.
Wonderful. But that's all this Friday and Against All Odds, which you can catch on the TNA Plus app. Well, Mr. B-Roll, the anniversary show of Impact was quite interesting. From a perspective of us content creators who delve in the world of pro wrestling, there's a lot of there's a lot of, let's just say, interesting things going on right now, stemming from Thursday night. So here with a great opinion on all that's going on with that right now, let's go to our good friend, Sienna Chanel.
Lately, some of the wrestling content creators has been getting these wonderful opportunities, and I know that some of like the wrestling fans or wrestling content creators and whatnot that are not in like the higher caliber is kind of feeling some type of way. But seriously, y'all, does it even matter how many followers you have or just like feeling jealousy or whatever type of feelings? All you gotta do is just supporting one another, because some of the content creators have been working their butts off just to entertain one another, but actually having fun. And that is the main thing when it comes to putting out wrestling content, especially with the different types of content like streaming to create an e-fed on a video game, entertainment, talking point, or whichever. It's about being authentic, all right, and building a community for like other wrestling fans that they don't have anyone to talk to about wrestling. All you gotta do is just support one another. Numbers doesn't even matter at all. No matter which platform you're using, at the end of the day, all of us are wrestling fans. We really enjoy wrestling, no matter what opinions, takes, whatever. Because, hey, all of us, we're just human beings. So just be nice to each other, and etc.
Can't we all just get along? Could have said it better myself, Sienna. Thank you so much for your input. She is wise among her years.
So smart. She's so smart.
She's a smart cookie. Well, can you believe we're like almost halfway through this show and we still haven't talked about like WWE's main roster, AEW? That's just how crazy busy of a week it was in the world of pro wrestling. But let's get right into that. Let's talk about Monday Night Raw from this past week. Was a loaded show. Continue it still with the Liv Morgan Revenge Tour. And she tried to get a little something from Dirty Dom. Hey,
Call me.
Nonetheless, as that storyline continues on, a tremendous matchup with Ludwig Kaiser and Sheamus as they went one-on-one. Also, we got to see the debut on Monday Night Raw of Kiana James. She got a big win over Natalya. What about that Jey Uso promo, man? I'm still getting goosebumps from that thing, man. Like Jey Uso, it's crazy, like how freaking over he is. Like it's just like he was over last year, but with all the stuff going on, yet somehow he's still amazingly is just connected with an audience. And I'm not gonna be shocked if he wins Money in the Bank this year, honestly.
Yeah, I mean that's it's crazy to think. He is going to have a singles title sooner rather than later.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to think of how they could like deck out the Money in the Bank briefcase and have it say eat all over it.
Oh, they'll do something like And of course, the show ended with a matchup between Rey Mysterio and Damian Priest. And of course, Judgment Day just running roughshod through everybody, laying out Damian Priest's challenger at Clash of the Castle. One Drew McIntyre, but Monday Night Raw, solid show. But let's go over to Friday nights and let's talk about SmackDown this past week as well, which was, I gotta tell you, dude, I've been really digging SmackDown here this past month, man. It's been a very enjoyable to watch. I feel like, and I'm gonna say this, and I think everybody kind of agrees to a certain extent, a 2-hour show where I'm just like, I don't know. To me, it's just much more enjoyable than just like the 3. I think we can get it all in solid. And I just realized like I have like something white here. I think the sun is shining in. So please forgive my ghost-like appearance here on my shoulder that's disappeared. But anyways, I'm sorry, that threw me off. I had to acknowledge that, bro. I'm gonna be like the rest of the show, just disappearing slowly. Anyways, let's talk about SmackDown though. What did you think of the bloodline that was? We got the coronation of the right-hand man, Tama Tonga, and the acknowledgement of Tonga Loa, and then just Paul Heyman just like scared shitless.
I think that's my favorite part of the whole thing is Paul Heyman just being scared the whole time. Like I just love his facials. It is kind of weird to see Gorillas of Destiny in a tag match in WWE.
Still getting used to that, yeah. But and also we got a hell of a matchup too. I enjoyed this LA Knight and Carmelo Hayes matchup, and LA Knight calling out Logan Paul. So it looks like I may be losing that bet to you if they meet at SummerSlam. But you know what? We've still got a couple of shows before then, so you never know, bro. So did B? Yes, he did. I think B-roll did say he liked facials. So, you know what? This is a perfect segue because it's that time of the show where you need some advice, boy. You need some of that dare I say, fatherly advice right now. So let's go to Dad Hat with Dad Hat's tip of the week here on PW60.
It's that time of the week again. Dad Hat's Life Lessons of the Week. Brought to you by World Championship Wreckage. Find them on YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok. And also by the Wrestle Talk Wolfpack. 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. every Wednesday, twitch.tv/Wrestle Talk Wolfpack. And now, here's Dad Hat.
All right, kids. Always remember, there is never a bad time for a masturbation joke.
The right hand man.
And the right hand man, Tamatonga. It feels dirty to say out loud, Wade.
He's not wrong. I love me a good wiener joke. Anyway,
We're going to get kicked off there. We're talking about facials. We're talking about
the meats. And don't forget, head to Arby's now. Use the app. 5 for $5 roast beef sandwiches all this week as part of WWE Meat Week over at Arby's. Don't forget it, kids. Well, B-Roll, we got a little bit of an update here at the Clash at the Castle show. I think the card's pretty much filled out here. We now know AJ Styles will be getting his rematch for the WWE Championship against one Cody Rhodes, but it is going to be under special stipulations as it will be an I Quit match where they're going to go one-on-one. Bayley to defend her women's WWE Championship against Piper Niven. Also, how about the three-way we're getting for the women's tag team titles? As we're going to see Bianca and Jade defend against Shayna Baszler, Zoe Stark, and Isla Dawn, and oh goddamn, this is the episode where I keep forgetting people's names. I know what I want to say, but it's not coming off the tip of my tongue. But used to be in ICW. I want to say Kaylee Ray. Are we calling her Kaylee Ray in WWE? She's always Kaylee Ray to me.
Alba Fire and Isla Dawn.
Oh, okay. I again flip-flopped anyways. Can't you just make the shit easy on me? I've watched her for years in ICW. Can we just call her that? Come on, man. It's hard for me to remember all these goddamn names. Anyways, that should be a fun matchup. And then Sami Zayn to defend the Intercontinental Championship against Chad Gable. And, of course, in what I would say is probably going to be your main event, Damian Priest defending the WWE World Championship against Drew McIntyre. Looking like a pretty solid show. Looked like you got pretty much 3 of these 5 matches are going to have some of their fellow countrymen and women in them. So it's going to be kind of a homecoming here at Scotland. But that's coming up this Saturday. The next big event, Clash at the Castle. It's going to be interesting to see. And also, we got to go back, even though we talked about NXT already, we got to talk about NXT this past week because it was a great go-home show for Battleground. Of course, got to see the NXT in-ring debut of Jordan Grace. We got to see that summit for the ladder match or whatever we want to call it, but that ended up leading to the 6-women's tag team match. Tony D'Angelo going up against Damian Kemp for the Heritage Cup. And, of course, the big news was Ethan Page signing his contract with NXT. Also got to see Natalya in action, too, as well. So it was a good Tuesday night on NXT. Let's switch gears now. Let's talk about AEW this past week as our scumbag returned back home as MJF is back in AEW, and it looks like his first feud's going to be with Roosh. How do you feel about this? Because I love Roosh, but I don't know. It feels kind of weird to me. Does it to you?
Yeah.
Because he's your top guy there. And there's no doubt about it. And he's wrestling Roosh. No disrespect. I love Roosh, but I don't know. Just something feels off to me here. And maybe I'm being a fickle fan. Maybe I'm nitpicking, but I don't know.
I feel like this is kind of be like a short-lived thing.
Yeah, maybe we get this at Forbidden Door or something, and then that's it. And maybe it makes sense too. Gives Roosh the rub, and then you get MJF kind of back into ring shape, so to speak, or whatever you want to call it.
I mean, so let me ask you this.
Yeah.
You can't put it back in the world title picture.
Yes. Yeah, not right away. I mean, you could technically. I mean, he's so damn good, you could. But then again, this is AEW. We don't give a shit about the rankings. We say we do. And this is coming from an AEW diehard, so don't give me shit. I love AEW, but the ranking system don't mean a fucking thing in AEW. It doesn't. See, even Reggie knows, and he's over there barking. But yeah, it just, I don't know. It doesn't matter at this point. I think it's just.
You know what I think the bigger question is?
What's that?
Why is he not out for blood? And I think I know the answer, but why is he not out for blood against Adam Cole and the King?
I think because Adam Cole's not cleared yet. I'm guessing.
That's what I'm guessing too. But
why doesn't he go after the rest of the kingdom? I don't get it. I don't get it. But it is what it is. It's great to see MJF back in a ring, though. I'm excited about that. So, and I guess you just gotta enjoy the little things, folks.
I'm gonna look up what pero means in Spanish.
You do that. Also, we now have a number one contender for the international championship as Rey Fenix won a 4-way matchup against Kyle O'Reilly, Orange Cassidy, and Jay Lethal. Got to see my girl Chris kind of confront OC there. Chris, what's going on here? I don't know, man. I know you're kind of fed up with things. I get it. She explained why, but I don't know. I'm still kind of a little heartbroken, a little confused, but love her nonetheless. Also, Mark Briscoe qualified for the TNT Championship ladder match at Forbidden Door as he defeated Brian Cage. The Blackpool Combat Club was in action, and a returning Wheeler Yuta. I know, shout out to Hambone, his favorite wrestler, back in the thick of things as they went up against the CMLL contention. Also, we got to see the Saraya against Mariah May matchup, which I personally think and maybe I'm biased here because I love all three of the competitors, but the Mariah May, Mina Shirakawa, Tony Storm storyline is my favorite storyline going on in AEW right now. This love triangle, I'm eating it up. It's so damn good. Now, here's the one thing I want to talk about. We also got to see the debut. Or no, not the late debut. That was the week before, but we got to hear more out of the learning tree. I gotta tell you, I hated what Jericho was doing at first, but I'm gonna be the ones who flips the script here. I am loving what the learning tree is doing. I like that Big Bill is doing something of relevancy. I feel like I like the way his character is coming across. I like how Brian Keith now has something to do here, and he's kind of being the serious. You respect Chris Jericho. I may be in the minority on this, but I gotta tell you, I'm digging the learning tree. What do you think of the learning tree?
I just loved it. As someone who has scooped chicken and dumplings for over 30 years,
it's just so fucking stupid, but I love it, man. I love it, and I'm here for it. So, well, later on in the week, let's talk about Rampage from Friday night. And B-Roll, I want to talk to you about this. I feel like ever since the NBA playoff stuff happened with AEW, I feel like Rampage has been a much more enjoyable show. Would you agree? Would you disagree? Think it's about the same?
I would agree. And now when we get to Collision, I would say the opposite. Oddly
that it's went downhill.
Yeah.
Because I gotta say, there was Collision I was not impressed with this Saturday. But Rampage, not a bad show, a pretty solid show, especially good for a Rampage. Kicked it off with Penta against the Butcher. Of course, the Acclaim were in action. Gates of Agony went up against Private Party. And anytime I get to see the beautiful Mina Shirakawa on my TV, I'm for it, as she had an incredible matchup with Serena Deeb. And the Bang Bang Gang, too. Looks like Jay White is now giving his championships to Juice Robinson. So looks like it's good they're going to do the Freebird rule there or something, I guess. So interesting to see. But let's talk about, you said it, let's talk about Collision from this past Saturday night. Now, they did have a solid tag match here with the FTR going up against the Blackpool Combat Club. Of course, ended in a 20-minute time limit draw, and then one Brandon Cutler decided to show his face, and well, that didn't end too well for Mr. Cutler, did it, Mr. B-Roll?
No, he got caught in a giant swing.
Yes, he did. Lady Frost was in action against Tony Storm, which is always great to see her in action. And an impressive main event with Orange Cassidy and Kyle O'Reilly. But outside of that, I don't know. It's just kind of felt a little lackluster. I want to hear your thoughts on this because you kind of alluded to it a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it was just kind of there. I mean, yeah, I mean, we talked about a lot of good with it, and there were some good moments, but I mean, overall, it was just kind of lackluster, I would say.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to put it, my friend. So, but nonetheless, in AEW and New Japan Pro Wrestling, we are on the road. The road to Forbidden Door, and we have an update on the card. We do know Swerve will be defending that AEW championship against Will Ospreay, Tony Storm, and Mina Shirakawa for the AEW Women's World Championship, which I think can steal the show, honestly. But also this one can too, as it is now title for title. New Japan Strong Women's Championship, as well as the TNT title on the line. Mercedes Moné defended against Stephanie Fakur. This latter match for the Fank It TNT Championship match will take place. Already we know Takeshita and Mark Briscoe are in it. And also just recently added to Orange Cassidy will go one-on-one against Zack Sabre Jr. And as we mentioned earlier, Tetsu Naito will challenge for the IWGP Championship, that of one Jon Moxley. Well, Mr. B-Roll, it's that time in the show. It's time to spice things up a little bit. Let's go to Spicy Guac with the Spicy Take.
Spicy Guac reminding all of you that you need to go support a little bit or a lot of it of your local wrestling that you can. Go to a show, go to 3, go to 20 of them. Pay the money, go see some local talent because you never know who you're going to find. Whether they're advertised, whether they're up and coming, whether they're the hot drizzling shits like your boy. It means a lot when we get to come to the curtain and be like, oh, okay, cool, there's more than 10 people here. Let's go.
Yeah. Well, another interesting story breaking out this week, no pun intended, is one Ricochet is about to become the next free agent in the WWE. And as rumor has it, he's already told WWE he's out of here. He's deuces. What do you think about this? Do you think this is the right move for Ricochet? Does it make sense? Where do you think you see Ricochet going from here?
Here's the ultimate thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really going to hurt him.
No, I don't think so.
I mean,
is
if
it going to help him, though?
Yeah. That's the fear. It depends on where he goes.
Yeah.
And
I think
here's what I would do. I would follow the Mustafa Ali, Nick Nemeth path.
Thank you.
I would do.
Preach, brother. 1,000%. That's what I think he needs to do. Go down that of Mustafa Ali, what he's doing right now, and I think he could have a phenomenal run working for multiple companies, building his already incredible resume. I don't know. I feel like, is Ricochet a main event talent? Yeah, he can be. But I think where he's at right now, he is always going to be, and I mean, this is no disrespect, but he's always going to be mid-card at best, Yeah.
I'll say this, like, there are matches I would like to see him in AEW. Ricochet against a Swerve, Ricochet against an Ospreay.
Yeah.
But I mean,
I want to say this, and this may be a hot take. I want to see those matches, but I don't want to see him bad enough where he fully signs with AEW, because I think he would, just like in WWE, he would get lost in the shuffle easily. I think so. I don't know, but it'll be interesting to see where Ricochet lands going forward here. And also, Penta El Cerro is apparently about to be a free agent too as well. WWE has expressed interest in signing Penta. Do you see Penta leaving AEW?
Not without his brother.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a big deciding factor. Is like he's going to be wherever his brother goes. So I mean, I don't know. Penta could go anywhere he wants to. He's that incredible of a talent. I think he would do great if he went to WWE. I think he'd be great wherever he went. Honestly, so I don't know. Once again, man, free agency is heating up in the world of professional wrestling. I want to talk about this. This was a sad story coming out this week. Independent superstar Edith Surreal, which if you've never seen her, please go and watch her. Look her up on YouTube and stuff. She did have to announce her retirement. Very young competitor too, but had already had an incredible, amassed an incredible resume of matches and championships and just things she'd done in the world of pro wrestling. But due to injury, she is going to have to retire early. We here at PW60, we want to wish her well and are excited to see what she does going forward. And hopefully she still stays in some capacity in the world of pro wrestling because she was a very talented person on the independent scene. And as you know, we here at PW60, we love the indies. And I think that is a perfect time for us to go to Michael with an indie report.
What up, y'all? It's your boy Michael with a independent wrestling report. First off, we have Epic Pro Wrestling presents Better Each Day to August 10th at the Bill Green Sports Complex, 4835 Clare Street, Cudahy, California. Cudahy, California, 90210. Go to Epic Pro Wrestling on Facebook and on Twitter and for more information on that. Secondly, we have Pierre Pro Wrestling presents Summer Smash 2024, Friday, August 16th, at the Park Theater, 248 South River Avenue in Holland, Michigan, 49423. ProWrestling.net for more information on that. And lastly, we have ECWA presents Night of the Legends, August 3rd, at the Newark Boys and Girls Club in Newark, Delaware. ECWAWrestling.com for more information on that.
There you have it. Well, Michael, thank you so much as always for the independent report. And seriously, if you're not doing so, get out there and support independent wrestling. Now, Mr. B-Roll, I do have it on authority. We have been allotted time to go over tonight, and that is all thanks to Arby's. And remember, it is Meat Week over at Arby's, WWE Meat Week, that is, as you can get 5 roast beef sandwiches for just $5. Use the Arby's app, and you can get all this week 5 roast beefs for $5. All right, let's continue on here, my friend. We talked about this earlier. I want to kind of go a little bit into this. Liv Morgan, man, she's kind of reaching stalkerish levels here with Dirty Dom, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it's some next level stuff right there.
It's getting a little uncomfortable, bro. But nonetheless, she's also out there trolling the Judgment Day at the same time too. This Liv Morgan revenge tour is going on, man. I don't know. I'm digging where this is going. I'm pretty intrigued to see where this goes, especially when Mommy gets back, dude. Liv Morgan's done. Her goose is cooked. Any type of analogy you can say of someone getting their ass kicked and handed to them, that's what's going to happen to Liv Morgan when Mommy comes back. That revenge tour, it's gonna be over. Just saying. Now, this was interesting. This came out this week, too. FX is in the works of producing a pro wrestling sitcom. My gosh, could you imagine? It's like, be like How I Met Your Mother, or like 2.5 Men, just with pro wrestling or something. Who would have thunk it? So, and remember, they did try this many, many years ago, and we may or may not stolen the theme song for one of our shows here on PW60, but we're not going to talk about that. But nonetheless,
living in this world of ours,
we're not giving it away, B-roll. Have a roast beef sandwich, my friend. You've earned it. But nonetheless, FX is going to be coming out, looks like, with a new wrestling sitcom. So we'll see what happens there.
I already ate them all.
Well, there goes. Mom was going to ask you at the end of this if I could get a damn roast beef sandwich, but oh well.
I do have 5 more. So,
well, you cheap bastard, give me one. I love you, buddy. You said you were out. Out is not having 5 more, my friend.
Well, technically, those are my wife's, though.
Whatever. I love you, but no. This week on Vice TV, Who Killed WCW debut, which was produced by The Rock. Interesting first episode, man. I gotta say. We've got 4 more episodes, or 4 total episodes, so 3 more to come after this. You can catch that over on Vice TV. I believe it's on every Tuesday night. But we've got a good, close personal friend on this show who is a diehard WCW fan. And he can debunk all this, can clear up the room of like who really killed WCW. That being said, let's go to our good friend, the Best Scout Machine.
What up, P-Dub City? It's the notorious BGM here to talk about who killed WCW. Vice TV is currently showing this 4-part series from the creators of Dark Side of the Ring, but I'm like, you're going it all the wrong way. I think I know. I feel like I can find out who really killed WCW. One person they're not focusing on is Norman Smiley, the Big Wiggle himself. Lord knows how much money WCW spent on those jerseys and all that hardcore gear he needed to become the death match god that he is. Did you know that it cost 10 grand to do the ice effect whenever Glacier came out? So obviously all the money went into the portal that we had to go into to the other dimension in order to get Sub-Zero out of Mortal Kombat and make him Glacier. It could have been Seven. We don't know what ever happened to Seven. He just disappeared. He showed up into our lives and just went away. I just can only imagine that he's out there trying to sell your children Encyclopedia Britannicas. Britannica. Britanza? WCW blew all of their money on Kiss appearing that one time and having the Kiss Demon, which, by the way, they would have saved so much money if they had hired Shania Twain! Or all their money went into DDP's diamonds. They didn't call him Diamond Dallas Page for nothing. Maybe they did. I don't recall him ever having diamonds, ever. Anyone ever thought about that? WCW was killed after being dry humped to death by the Yeti and Big Show Paul White. I'm just kidding. Obviously, we all know that the real killer is O.J. Simpson.
Oh, Best Scout, you are a national treasure, sir. Thank you so much. I'm glad he could finally debunk that. And now we all know. And I got to tell you, I'm going to apologize in advance. I've got my window open. That's why the sunlight. But it's such a beautiful day here in the Midwest. Had to do it. But yeah, so if I'm leaning like this, that's why. So we're almost done, though, folks. I promise you. But
okay, the light is shining on you. Enjoy it while you can.
Shine bright like a diamond. Well, they came out actually a week ago what the minimum salary is for WWE on-screen talent, and it's been reported that the minimum salary is $150K. How do you feel about that, B-Roll? You think you'd be okay with that? Would you be on screen on the WWE Weekly for $150K?
Plus catering?
Plus catering, yes.
Yeah. I'd do it for $150 a week.
There you have it. So now we know how much Tosawa is making in the WWE. Oh, I'm sorry, I love Tosawa, but come on, man. This I found interesting and fucking amazing. So yes, it's being reported that Vince McMahon is pretty much barred from WWE headquarters. Not shocking there. But what I find fun is like he designed the weight room specifically to him. And now this old piece of shit's not even allowed into his precious little weight room. He's probably working out at a weight room at the retirement center, playing like shuffleboard and fucking doing some other, I don't know, old fucker shit. Fuck him. Fuck you, Vince. Stay gone. Eat a fucking piece of shit. I don't know. Fuck you. Anyways, segue into this. This was a weird one. Are you okay there, B-Roll? I'm sorry, it's the light is shining on my eyes, and it's like you're talking about that old piece of shit Vince McMahon. But nonetheless, we got a show to do here, folks. This is crazy. Okay, you're probably looking at this graphic like, what the fuck is Indiana Jones and Will Ospreay have in common? Well, I'll tell you what they got in common. There's a story that came out that Will Ospreay almost ran down Harrison Ford by accident in a golf cart as him and his girlfriend were doing a tour of, I believe it was Paramount Studios, Universal Studios, something like that. One of these major Hollywood studios, and Harrison Ford just so happened to be on that lot filming something. But yes, the aerial assassin about assassinated Indiana Jones, man. Like, how crazy is that? Like, you can't make this up.
So when I heard about this, I thought about taking my Will Ospreay action figure and my Han Solo action figure and just being like, but then I realized I don't want to open my Will Ospreay action figure.
Yes. Well, you can do that also on WWE 2K, just saying, so you could have that matchup. But I mean, this is just probably the most random.
Do they have golf carts?
Maybe, I don't know. But I just have to say, this is the most random piece of news you're probably ever going to see here on PW60. Which that's a perfect segue to our good friend Brian and Brian's random moment of the week.
Again, Phoenix out of the ashes or something. Better look in this face. Hey, back again for Brian's random moment of the week. The hat's not here. Pretend it is. The logo. Get it bullet in your brain. All right, so continuing our What If series, kind of like that song by Creed. What if? What if? What if I ask you this question? Nah, I shouldn't sing. Sorry for your ears. So continuing our series about what ifs in professional wrestling, one of the biggest what ifs we've talked about the late great Owen Hart, the King of Hearts, the Rocket. With the last couple of weeks' questions kind of going in reverse order, I want to back up to 1994, and this is one of the other big what ifs. There's pictures from a house show of him holding the WWF Winged Eagle Championship, and at that point in his career, imagine that around his waist and not just in his hands for just a few moments. So again, one of the biggest what ifs. What if Owen Hart, 1994, at one of the hottest points of his career, officially won the WWF Championship? And what if that happened? Along with it, some of the bonus questions you can put alongside it. You can comment, think about it, let us know. Or you can also reach out on the other socials as well and let all of us content creators, part of PW60, know your answer as well. How long do you think his reign would have been? And who would he have lost it to? Back maybe to Brett again, somebody else, maybe somebody up and coming like Razor Ramon? I don't know. You let me know. Comment. Let it be known. Yes, what if Owen Hart officially, truly won the WWF title in 1994? And have yourself a wonderful week. 2 W's. How creative. Not really.
Oh, thank you, Brian. We love you, buddy. And that is I love these questions on Owen Hart too, and how apropos as we build up to the Owen Hart tournament. And yes, Mal, my lighting is so much better. Even though that natural sunlight was beautiful on me, I had to fix it. So nonetheless, thank you, Brian. We love you, buddy. And you know who else we love, Mr. B-Roll? We love our wrestling content creators. And this week, our Ruby Ringside Wrestling Content Creator of the Week is one Alistair Iverson. I think I said that right. But he's got some funny videos, man. He's got some funny takes, some sarcastic takes, talks about some just like what ifs and whatnot in the world of pro wrestling. It's some good shit, my friend, if I do say so. If you're not following him, give him a follow. Our Ruby Ringside Content Creator of the Week is one A-List Alverson. I just realized that's how you're supposed to pronounce it because it's underneath the name. That damn light got to me, bro. Anyways, let's talk about this as we wrap up here this week on PW60. You know what it is? I'm starving because I don't have my Arby's roast beef sandwich, but I could because it's WWE week at Arby's. 5 for $5. Use the Arby's app. We're not even getting paid by them. We've fucking talked about it all night on this show. But let's talk about this in all seriousness. This was pretty cool. The latest QR code in the Uncle Howdy saga did reveal a thank you letter to professional wrestling fans. I thought this was cool as shit, man. Like definitely a unique spin. Or do you think we're overreading this and this is something else?
You would ask me a serious question when I
Yes.
have a comedy in my head.
Well, you have roast beef in your belly and I don't, so I'm just saying.
Yes. Okay. Full disclosure, I was thinking about how I could write a love letter to Arby's roast beef sandwich. But now back to the topic at hand. Yes, this was very cool. But like with most of this stuff, what does it all mean? Where are we going?
Where are we going?
When are we getting there? These are the questions I should be asking, and this is why it has wrestling fans interested in it. And I hope the payoff is worth it, and I think it will.
I think you're 100% right there, my friend. And our last story this week, we mentioned this earlier, we're going to talk about, let's get into it. The G1 Climax 34 was announced for this. Now, we don't know who the competitors are. We will find that out in the next week or so. However, we did find out a little bit of a change of the rules, and I'm not going to lie, B-Roll, it's a little confusing somewhat. The first part of it, I understand. Confused. So, the first and foremost, we are going back to the field of 20. So we're just going to have two blocks, Block A and Block B. No 4 blocks. And then we're going to have 10 competitors in each block. Now, this is what's interesting. The final spots in these blocks are going to be determined by a play-in style tournament. So there will be a tournament held over the next a month or so in New Japan Pro Wrestling to determine who is going to get the final spots in the G1 Climax. Now, this is where I'm still a little confused on, and I got to get with our resident expert CDC on this to truly understand what these rules mean. But from what was announced, my understanding is whoever is, I don't know if it's top point getter in A and B block or just top in general, but they get a bye into the semifinals of the G1, which it also sounds to me like the G1 is also going to have like a kind of like a tournament slightly at the end of it. I don't know, man. Why are they trying to get all cutesy with this shit? It's almost like what they're doing in the NBA with these like in-league tournaments and shit. I don't know. It's a little. I love the G1 Climax. Don't get me wrong. It's going to be an amazing tournament, but just this new rule set's got me scratching my head, you know? It's making me.
So are the play-in or whatever you want to call them, is that before the field of 20 or after?
I think they're going to announce 18 or 16 or whatever it is. And then the rest of them, it's like a tournament they're going to announce to determine who gets into it. So I don't know. It's
to me, what it sounds like, it's probably words are hard. What it sounds like, it's going to be harder for like someone from the outside to maybe be in it this year.
I don't even think they're going with outside talent, honestly. I think it's going to be everybody that's like in New Japan. So I think here's the thing. At the end of the day, ultimately with the G1, they've got a tremendous opportunity here, as they always do this too, is you can really build up some new stars in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Because like I said, we are in this huge transitional period. So I think that is what this G1 Climax is going to accomplish. Because you got to look at it this way. This is going to be the first G1 in probably at least the past 5 or plus years. Okada's not going to be in it. Ospreay's not going to be in it. I mean, this is going to be it's going to be anybody's ball game to win this thing, honestly. So, who's to know what is going to happen, my friend? Well, Mr. Amazing week it was in the world of pro wrestling. And speaking of amazing weeks, don't forget, this week it's WWE Meat Week at Arby's. That's right. Use the app and you can get 5 roast beef sandwiches for $5. All you got to do is use that app. And what do we think about that here at PWC?
They've got the meats.
Yeah, they do. Everybody have a great week. We'll see you next week on PW60.